Once upon a time, in a box of crayons, there was an argument going on. All the colored pencils were arguing about which color was the prettiest. Red argued that it was her since she was the color of love and passion. Yellow chimed in saying, "No, it's me because I'm the color of happiness and sunshine." Blue said, "No way, it's me because I'm the color of freedom and the sky and the ocean." Green said, "You're all wrong. It's nature's color and it's calm and peaceful." The other colors all shouted at once, each one thinking that their color was the best. Just then, a little girl opened the box. She picked up the pencils and began to draw. As she drew, she used one color at a time, but soon she began to mix them all together. The colors were so surprised. They saw that the picture she was drawing was beautiful, but it wasn't finished. So the colors continued to argue about who should be added next. But the girl just shook her head and said, "No, you're not getting it. You're all beautiful and you're meant to be together." Then the colors stopped and listened. The girl continued, "When you're all used together, that's when the picture is the prettiest. You're all different and that's what makes you special. But being different isn't just for show. It is so that you can all work together and make something that none of you could do alone. You don't really understand this now, but someday you will." Then she put the pencils back in the box and closed it. The pencils were quiet for a moment. Red was the first to break the silence. She said to the others, "She's right. When we're together, that's when we're the prettiest. We can make colors that we can't even imagine on our own. Like turquoise, that's my favorite. It's the color of clear water on a sunny day. It's the perfect mix of blue and green, and without either one, it couldn't exist." The other colors all nodded their heads in agreement. They realized that they were all different and that's what made them so great. They were all part of something bigger than themselves, and they needed each other to make the world beautiful. Yellow said, "So does this mean that no color is the prettiest?" Green said, "Well, not if we're talking about what's prettiest. But I think we can all agree that we're all pretty special." Blue said, "That's right. We're all special in our own way." And Red, "We don't need to be the color of love to be loved. We're all loved just for being who we are." The girl opened the box again and took out all the pencils. She was so happy to see that they were all getting along. She gave them each a hug and said, "You're all wonderful just the way you are." Then she started to draw, and all the colors worked together to make the most beautiful picture imaginable. The end. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who loved to draw. She had a box of crayons, but her favorite were the colored pencils. They were smooth and shiny, and they made her drawings come to life. But one day the colored pencils started to argue about which one was the best. One day they were arguing so loudly that the girl heard them. She was so upset that her favorite colored pencils were arguing. She tried to stop them, but they wouldn't listen, so she had an idea. She picked up all the pencils and put them in a box. Then she went away for a long time. When she came back, she opened the box and the colored pencils were still there, but they weren't arguing anymore. They had all made friends. The girl was so happy that her colored pencils were getting along. She took them out of the box and started to draw. She drew a picture of a rainbow, and it was the most beautiful picture she had ever drawn. The girl looked at her picture and smiled. She knew that her colored pencils were special, and it wasn't because they were the prettiest or the best. It was because they were all different, and they could all work together to make something beautiful. In the heart of a bustling city lived a little girl named Lily who had a heart full of dreams and a head full of stories. She loved nothing more than to lose herself in fantasy, weaving tales of daring adventures and faraway lands. Her imagination was her constant companion, her escape from the ordinary. One day, Lily's mother gifted her a beautiful kite, a vibrant red diamond that shimmered like a precious gem against the azure sky. From that moment, the kite became an extension of Lily's spirit, a symbol of her boundless imagination taking flight. Every chance she got, she would run into the open fields with her kite in hand, letting the wind catch it and carry it high above her. As the kite danced in the wind, so did Lily's thoughts. She imagined herself as a fearless explorer charting unknown territories, or as a mystical sorceress commanding the very essence of the sky. In these moments, she felt truly free, untethered from the boundaries of reality. But one afternoon, as Lily played in the park, something extraordinary happened. As she let out the string, the kite didn't rise gradually, but shot straight up into the air, disappearing into the clouds in a blink of an eye. Startled, Lily stood there watching the spot where her kite had vanished, her heart pounding in her chest. Then, as if drawn by an invisible force, Lily began to walk towards the edge of the park. Without knowing it, she was following the path of her kite, her feet carrying her on an adventure just as thrilling as the one she concocted in her stories. As she walked, Lily noticed that the familiar surroundings of the park were slowly fading away. The trees and benches she knew so well were replaced by towering sunflowers that seemed to have sprung up overnight, blocking her way forward. Their faces turned towards the setting sun, creating a golden path that beckoned her to follow. Curious and a little scared, Lily stepped into the sea of sunflowers. The plants were tall and thick, their rough leaves brushing against her skin. But as she pushed through, she realized that the stalks were guiding her, forming a natural tunnel that led deeper into the unknown. At the end of the sunflower maze, Lily found herself in a clearing bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. In the center stood a magnificent oak tree, its branches reaching towards the sky like the arms of a giant welcoming her. And at its base lay a tiny cottage, no bigger than a shoe, yet no less enchanting for its size. From between the window shutters, Lily could see a faint light flickering, as if someone was waiting for her. Hesitantly, she knocked on the door, and to her surprise, it opened as if by magic, revealing a staircase that spiraled upwards into the darkness. With a deep breath, Lily began her ascent, each step taking her higher and closer to the source of the light. As she climbed, the walls of the staircase shimmered, transforming into a kaleidoscope of colors that swirled around her, faster and faster until the world spun into a dizzying blur. Then, as abruptly as it started, everything went silent. The colors faded, the music stopped, and Lily found herself standing on a balcony bathed in the soft glow of 1,000 stars. Before her stretched a breathtaking view of the night sky, a vast canvas of twinkling lights that seemed to stretch on forever. And in the distance, she could see her own kite dancing among the constellations, now no longer a mere toy, but a celestial beacon guiding her on her adventure. Overwhelmed by the beauty of the night sky, Lily couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and awe. It was as if she had stepped into one of her own stories and become the very character she had imagined. As she stood there lost in the moment, she heard a gentle voice behind her. "So you finally made it," it said. Turning around, Lily saw the most extraordinary sight. A woman with hair like spun gold and wings like a majestic eagle was looking at her with a warm smile. "Who are you?" Lily asked, her voice filled with wonder. "I am the guardian of your dreams," the woman replied, her eyes twinkling like the stars above. "I've been waiting for you." "Waiting for me?" Lily echoed, still trying to wrap her mind around the fantastical scene before her. "But why?" The guardian of dreams gestured towards the kite dancing in the night sky. "Your kite is no ordinary toy, child. It's a key to the realm of imagination where dreams take flight and stories come to life." Lily's eyes widened in realization. All those hours spent daydreaming, all those tales she'd woven in her mind, they had led her here, to this magical place. The guardian of dreams continued, "You have a gift, Lily, a gift for dreaming. Never let it go. Let your imagination soar, for it is the very essence of your being." As the guardian spoke, Lily felt a surge of confidence course through her veins. She had always loved to dream, to escape into worlds of her own creation. But now she realized that this wasn't just a hobby or a pastime. It was a part of who she was, a gift to be cherished and nurtured. The guardian then led Lily on a tour of this wondrous realm, showing her landscapes that shifted with her thoughts and creatures that sprang to life from her imagination. It was a world without limits, a place where anything was possible, and Lily felt truly free. But as the night wore on, Lily began to feel a pang of longing for her own world. She had so many stories to tell, so many adventures to share, and she couldn't wait to get home and write them down. Realizing her friend's sadness, the guardian of dreams took her hand. "It's time for you to go home, child," she said gently. "But remember, the realm of imagination is always here for you. You just need to close your eyes, hold on to your dreams, and you'll be back in an instant." With a final wave goodbye, Lily closed her eyes and woke up in her own bed, the morning sun streaming through her window. At first, she thought it had all been a dream, just another figment of her overactive imagination. But then she saw it. Nestled on her pillow next to her teddy bear was her kite, the very same one she had lost in the park the day before. From that day on, Lily's life changed. She still loved to dream and create imaginary worlds, but now she also wrote stories. She filled notebooks with tales of bravery, friendship, and magic, inspired by her adventures in the realm of imagination. And whenever she felt a story within her begging to be told, she would grab her kite and go to the park. There, as the wind caught the red diamond and carried it aloft, she knew she was being guided by the guardian of her dreams, urging her to let her imagination soar. And so Lily's stories became known throughout the land, captivating young and old alike. People would gather in the town square listening as she wove tales of daring adventures and faraway lands. All because a little girl had dared to follow her dreams, and a kite had led her to the realm of imagination. The kite became a symbol of Lily's gift, a reminder that dreams don't have to stay hidden away. They can take flight and inspire others if only we have the courage to follow them. And as the years passed, Lily never forgot the lessons she learned that day in the park. She held on to her dreams, nurtured her imagination, and shared her stories with everyone she met, proving that even the smallest of us can have the biggest of dreams. Once upon a time in a faraway land, there lived a little girl named Ellie. Now, Ellie was just an ordinary girl who loved playing with her toys. She had a rocking horse, a teddy bear, and a whole collection of dolls. But her favorite toy by far was a wooden train set. Every day she would arrange the train tracks throughout her living room and take her little train for rides all around the house. But one night everything changed. You see, Ellie's mom had tucked her into bed, and as usual, she had left her train set up on the floor beside her bed. And so as soon as her mom had turned off the lights and closed the door, a tiny voice broke the silence. "Choo-choo, all aboard." Ellie opened her eyes and saw that her train was moving. It was traveling along the tracks and around her bed. "Am I dreaming?" she wondered, rubbing her eyes. But no, she wasn't dreaming, because there it was again, that same tiny voice saying, "All aboard the Bedtime Express, all aboard." And then she saw something incredible. Her train was pulling carriages made out of her favorite books. The engine puffed and chugged, and behind it came the carriage from Alice in Wonderland, then the one from Peter Pan, and even the carriage from her very own storybooks. And each time the train passed by, the characters waved at Ellie. The Mad Hatter and March Hare waved their hats. Peter Pan saluted with his sword, and even her favorite teddy bear was driving the engine. Ellie couldn't believe her eyes. What was happening? Then she heard the sound of footsteps outside her room. Tap, tap, tap. Could someone be walking on her roof? Suddenly, the door creaked open and a little boy peeked inside. "Who are you?" asked Ellie, quite scared. "My name is Finn," said the boy. "I live in the house next door. Are you awake?" "Yes," whispered Ellie. "But how did you get in here?" "I climbed in through your window. I heard a noise and thought maybe you were awake." "You're not scared of me, are you?" "No," said Ellie. "But what are you doing here?" I wanted to ask you, said Finn. Do you hear that train noise too? Can you see those amazing book carriages? Ellie nodded, unable to speak. She was still quite frightened, but she couldn't help but smile at the magical sight before her eyes. The two friends watched in amazement as the train traveled around the room, picking up more passengers. One minute they were waving at Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and the next they were bowing to Cinderella and her mice friends. There were fairies, goblins, and even an ugly troll, all hitching a ride on Ellie's train. Soon, though, the train began slowing down and the passengers started to disembark. The Mad Hatter poured tea from a tiny silver teapot. Peter Pan flew his fairy friend, Tinker Bell, around in circles. And even the ugly troll picked up Ellie's teddy bear and gave it a big hug. "Where are they all going?" whispered Ellie to Finn. Just then, the little train stopped right beside her bed, and as the last of the passengers got off, Ellie noticed that the train's engine was looking directly at her. And then the most incredible thing happened. The train began to glow and shimmer until finally it transformed into a magnificent steam engine pulled by 8 strong horses. "Wow!" breathed Ellie, completely stunned. And then a voice echoed through the room. "Welcome aboard the night train. Are you ready for an adventure?" Startled, Ellie turned to Finn and asked, "Do you hear that?" "Should I answer?" "Of course," said Finn with a big smile. "It's an adventure. How can we say no?" So Ellie stood up in bed and shouted, "Yes, we're ready. Take us away." In an instant, the horses reared up and the train shot out of Ellie's bedroom window, traveling across rooftops and over gardens. Soon they were flying through the starlit sky, passing shooting stars and puffy clouds. Down below, the moon and stars twinkled as if waving goodbye. As they journeyed further, Ellie and Finn saw the most amazing things. They visited the land of sweets, where gingerbread men were having a picnic. They flew over the enchanted forest, where friendly animals greeted them. And they even crossed the Rainbow Bridge, which led them to the magical world of make-believe. Then, after what felt like hours, the train began to slow down once again. The animals waved from the ground. The gingerbread men shouted, "Come back soon," and the bridge shimmered with a soft, gentle light. Before long, the night train was back in Ellie's bedroom, just as the first rays of sunlight peeked through the curtains. The 8 horses had become 8 books. The train had turned back into Ellie's wooden train set, and the magical world had vanished. Glancing at the clock, Ellie realized that it was almost time for her to get up. She looked over at Finn, who was fast asleep, and smiled. Then she carefully climbed out of bed and tiptoed over to her train set. As she arranged the tracks, she couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and excitement. The magic from the previous night still lingered in the air, and she knew that with a little imagination, anything was possible. As the sun rose higher in the sky, casting its warm glow on the room, Ellie got dressed, eager to start her day. She couldn't wait to tell her mom about her amazing adventure, but she knew she had to keep it a secret. After all, how could she possibly explain what had happened without sounding like a crazy kid? So she tucked her train set away and went downstairs for breakfast. Throughout the day, Ellie thought about her adventure with Finn. She remembered the magical worlds they had visited, the fantastic creatures they had met, and the feeling of flying through the starry sky. It had been the most exciting experience ever, and she couldn't wait for night to fall so she could hop aboard the night train once again. As evening approached, Ellie got ready for bed. She brushed her teeth, put on her pajamas, and snuggled into her blankets. But she lay awake, listening intently for any sound that might signal the arrival of the night train. Time seemed to pass slowly, and soon she began to feel disappointed. Maybe the magical adventure had been a one-time thing. Maybe she wouldn't get another chance to escape to the world of make-believe. Just when she was about to give up hope, she heard it. A faint chugging sound grew louder and louder until it filled her ears. Choo, choo, the night train was back. Ellie's heart raced with excitement as she heard the familiar sounds of the train pulling into her bedroom. She sat up in bed and strained to listen, and then she saw it. A tiny glowing light appeared beneath her curtains. With a gasp, Ellie realized that the magical train had returned, and this time, it was waiting for her to board once again. Without wasting a moment, Ellie swung her legs over the side of the bed and crept towards the window. As she opened it, she felt a rush of cool night air against her skin and heard the sweet laughter of fairies dancing in the wind. Taking a deep breath, Ellie climbed out of the window and onto the train. She waved goodbye to her old life for now, knowing that she would be back home before her mom even noticed she was gone. With a flick of the switch, the train lurched forward, taking Ellie on another thrilling adventure. This time, she was determined to explore even further, to discover new wonders and make unforgettable memories. The journey had begun once again. If you enjoyed this enchanting tale, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share the magic with your friends. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel and join our growing family. Together, we can embark on countless more adventures, each more captivating than the last.